Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Spill the Tea. Lou, sorry we were 3 minutes late. We had some minor technical difficulties in that I'm a disaster. So here we are. Ash is highly abused yet again by my technical skills. I broke my mic. It's now working. I hope it's now working. If it's not, please tell me. But no, we're fine. We're here. We're all in one piece. I am as calm, cool, and collected as ever. I do, in fact, have a cup of tea, though. Some folks, and Anna, it's in a Christmas mug. It's Christmas. I don't know if it's too early for some people. 1st of November, it's Christmas, Ash. I mean, don't tell me we're going to fall out already. It's Halloween, right up until Halloween. And then Halloween's over and it's Christmas.
I'm more acceptable with that. Like after Halloween, I get that. But like you know, people that are like the second it gets to like the second week in like September, and they're like putting out like Costco. I swear to God, I went to Costco in the first week in September. All the Christmas decorations were out. I was like, what's going on?
Although, just to let anybody know that's new to the channel, this is in fact a football video. Me and Ash just we roll with it as it comes. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Lou. This is Ash. His channel is Ash NUFC. Please do check him out after the show. Not right now. Please smash a like as you're jumping into the video. Say hello to everybody. I see guests. I see Twisted. Everybody's coming in. Thank you so much for joining us. But yes, it's Christmas. Myself and Ash, first debate out of the road. Me, Ash, and Costco. It's Christmas. Guests is saying no, December 1st. I think that's a bit late. Christmas is halfway over by then. You're missing out on the first lot of celebrations.
Yeah, I'm definitely that person that like your Christmas decorations needs to be up for at least a month before Christmas. I think because
I'm like that because it's so much effort. Ash, you have to put them up, and then you have to take them down.
Yeah, that's why I'm like so. Because normally I want it down by like just after New Year's, like New Year's 2nd or 3rd or something like that. That weekend after New Year's.
6th of January. 6th of January.
Well, I mean, there is actually a thing, isn't there, for that?
Yeah, it's the three wise men. That's the day they arrive to give baby Jesus.
So it's normally whenever like that weekend is. That's when I take mine down. But it's normally just an absolute mission to get it down.
Do you know what it is? My Christmas tree is out of the attic. All my Christmas decorations are out of the attic. They're sitting there just waiting for me to put them together. The problem is, obviously, for those that don't know, not obviously, I run a clothes shop. So I have to decorate the whole clothes shop. So I've done my Christmas decorations and now I have to go and do the Christmas decorations for my house. And I'm like, oh my God, the effort, I've already done this. And like my shop obviously is quite fancy. Well, it's not obviously quite, but you know, you wanted to look nice in the shop in a professional environment. So I put more effort into those than the ones for my house. So I'm like, oh my God, now I'm tired. I don't want to do it again. But I want to see them.
That's probably that's quite annoying though, that. Like making all the effort to do up like say the shop, and then obviously when you come back home, it's like
it's terrible.
It's like, oh, I can't be asked to do it.
Yeah. I'm just going to bring a sleeping bag into the shop. I'm actually thinking because this isn't going to be like my permanent area. I have started actually putting together an actual setup, so it's not complete chaos every time I do a stream, and it's not like a different. It's just at the moment it's chaos, which is basically my life at the minute. But I have a desk. I have another room, I have a desk, and I have the computer, and I have the mic, and I have the headset. This is not my headset, so if you see it wibble wobbling on my head, this isn't my headset. I borrowed this one from my tech support. But I do have an actual headset, and he is building me a computer. So he built his own computer, which is the one I'm currently using, but he's building one for me. So he's just put all the parts together for me. So at some point in the next few weeks, I am hoping I'm going to have an actual setup. It's going to be less chaotic. And when I have a setup, I'm going to get one of those mini Christmas trees. So my setup for my streaming is going to be done. My shop is going to be done. My living room is not. It's on the list though. I see Twisted coming in. I see Board Dave Boy coming in. I see everybody coming in saying hi. Ash, do you think maybe we should probably talk about football? Do you think that's what the people want to hear?
Probably, but I just read Twisted's comment. It's kind of thrown me a bit.
Lutic or the Jack Daniels?
Twisted. Wait.
Yeah. Which Twisted comment?
Can you not see his most recent one? It says the smell of a fresh tree is mildly arousing.
I think my brain blocked that one out because I did not see that one. I think I was skimming it.
It probably would have been for the best if mine blocked it out as well, but I couldn't.
You know what? To each their own. Also, big off Billy. Thanks for joining.
Dave, listen, I'll take Ease Out back if we can keep the money as well for him. I think that sounds like a good trade.
Honestly, though, that's actually a very good question from Dave. If you had the option right now, would you take Isak back?
Yeah.
Would you give them back 130 million?
Well, right. Okay.
Like, how much would you buy him back for? Just say, in our hypothetical world, you can buy him. How much?
So I wouldn't want him back because of how he treated the club. The fact he went on strike for like 39 days. I wouldn't want him back for that reason. But if that didn't happen and we left on like amicable terms and everything, he actually trained for the club, you know, that we paid him money and stuff, you know, surprising. If he actually like left on good terms, of course I'd want him back. Like at the end of the day,
he didn't leave on good terms. He didn't leave. He went on strike and he buggered off. So in the exact scenario, in January, he comes back and he says, do you know what? I absolutely hate Liverpool. It's a horrible environment. Please take me back, Newcastle. I'm so sorry. Would you want him back?
Listen, would you go back to your ex? No.
Absolutely fucking not.
Exactly. So Isak can stay down.
I'm not a runner,
stay down with the fucking Scousers. You can fucking stay down with the Scousers.
Right, lads. What we're going to do today, other than talk around in circles with just me and Ash having a bit of crack, we are going to talk because football is back. So I'm very excited because honestly, international breaks are not for me. And Ireland has just had the best international break literally ever in my lifetime. And I still just want the Premier League back. So I'm very excited by this. We're going to talk about it. Obviously, I've not put up a lot of videos during the international break because life and me and plans. So stuff didn't happen. So me and Ash are going to do a bumper show. We're actually literally going to talk about everything. Ash texted me, Jenny, he was like, so what are we talking about? And I was like, all of it, the whole shebang. And Ash is like, cool. So this is why we love Ash, because he just humors me and my absolute madness. I say things and he's like, yes. So we're going to talk the whole way through the Premier League table. We are going to talk a wee bit about the title race, but see, to be quite honest with you, I am sick to the back teeth of hearing about the title race because it is all anybody wants to talk about. So we will obviously speak about it. It's not going to be our focus though. We're going to work our way down through the table. We're going to talk about Manchester United. We're going to talk about Newcastle. We're going to talk about the relegation battle because I actually think that's interesting. All three of the bottom teams have now changed their managers since the season has started, which I think is like, I just love a bit of chaos. Honestly, I think I just thrive in chaos. So that's what we're going to do. Please get your comments in. Please let us know which teams maybe you want us to focus on a little bit more. We're not going to be here for 5 hours, so obviously we're not going to go in depth to everybody. So tell us who you want us to focus on. Obviously, we'll have a bit of a chat about Crystal Palace because I know Twisted's there. As I said, Newcastle, Manchester United, and the rest of it, my wee pals, we're going to talk about Sunderland because I love them so much. So we're going to talk about them. But anybody else, get your comments in, get your thoughts in, stop laughing at me, Ash. It's a totally normal way to say the word. So let's get started with Arsenal. And you know what, actually? I say that with a sigh, and it's actually not Arsenal fans putting me off Arsenal. It's content creators that won't shut up about Arsenal that is doing my nutting. It makes me not want to speak about them. So I'm going to try and not take that frustration out on Arsenal fans because it's not their fault. Even if my brother's one of them, you know, like they've a hard go of it already. So, Ash, Arsenal, what are you thinking?
I rate what you're saying there because I've always been someone who's like, if I had to choose, I mean, obviously I never would, but if I had to say like there was another Premier League team that I've always liked, that like they've never really been anything to do with me. There was never any like competition or anything. Like, I've always quite liked Arsenal, probably because like say like the likes of AFTV and stuff, they were a big thing in the fan scene. So I've always liked Arsenal. Definitely in the last year, I've been at my wit's end with some Arsenal content creators because of how unhumble they are. Look, I think I was saying this for a while. I think the reason why I said that thing about say Zubimendi when he scored those 2 goals in that game, it was a 3-0 game that they had. Zubimendi scored 2, and I was like, Zubimendi is not a goal scorer. So if you actually just analyze Arsenal's performance of like their typical goal scorers, because they're not being like prolific goal scorers, they're more likely to get draws. And I said, if the only reason why they're getting draws and not losing is because they're centre backs. Obviously, over the international break, Gabriel has pulled up an injury. And so he's up in Calzone or whatever his bloody name is. Apparently he's
Calafiore.
Yeah, Calzone. Apparently he's something's gone on there.
Calafiore the pizza.
Yeah, Calzone. So basically, I don't know. I think Arsenal could be struggling a bit here. Like Gabriel's a big part of their defense, and I could see them potentially dropping a few points. And it's the same with any big team, right? If you lose your best players, you're always going to drop levels, and losing the likes of Gabriel is massive. And as Swiss has just said, it potentially has cost them the title, which I agree. I said this last season. The reason why they didn't win the title wasn't because of their defense; it was because of their forwards not scoring. Like they were already really good at defending, and if they're not being prolific going forward, I put them in the same boat as they were last season. They just need to. Arteta just needs to try and do something with scoring goals. I don't know how that's going to be because it seems like they've had a lot of injuries going back and forward. But I don't know.
You've heard it here first, folks. Ash says you need to score goals to win the league. I mean, I don't know how nobody else has ever thought of it. It's easy.
Hey, well, I said that before, and apparently my take was absolutely delusional because I said because it all got hyper focused into the facts of what I said about Zubimendi, which it all comes down to the same thing.
To be fair, some of the things you say are delusional. That's not one of them, but some of them are. So let's just park that for a minute. But no, to be fair, I think the problem with Arsenal is that they've just not done it in recent times. So until you see them do it in recent times, you're not going to believe they can do it. Like it's one of those, I'll believe it when I see it type of things. It's not that they can't, but people already had doubts. And now they have one of their key players very seriously injured, potentially for months, because they're still waiting on scans as far as I know. So like if there was already doubts and then you take away a key player, because I think Calafiore is not serious and he's going to be available for the match from what I was reading. But like that's going to underscore the doubt. Do you know what I mean?
It's the problem is if something like say Calafiore is like slight niggle and stuff, those little niggles, you keep on playing, it exacerbates it and turns it into an injury. So it's like all these little things, like it'll end up adding up. I know obviously they've got the best squad in Europe apparently. So yes, they can have they can have rotation, but I mean, like the predicted lineup, they've got the likes of say Marino up front, and
look, I think it's possible. I'm not one of these people that would say, right, that's it, they're definitely out. What I would say is I agree with Twisted there. It could cost them. So like when you look at City last season, like they had Rodri was out and that was it. They just completely lost the run themselves altogether. Now, I have often said as well that Pep, his personal life, he was going through a really difficult time that obviously impacted his ability to steer the ship as such. So between that and one key injury, it essentially cost them the title. So it's not strange for me to say, well, if Gabriel is a key injury for Arsenal at a key point in the season, because this is where you really establish the running order coming into Christmas. So it's a key injury at a key time. And I was looking into this before, and Arsenal have led the league, I think, 5 times going into Christmas and then not won any of those times. I think it's 3 in the modern era. And the last time it happened, they lost out to City. And I think most people at the moment seem to be agreeing that City is their key sort of title rival at the moment since Liverpool have capitulated. So I wouldn't count them out, but I do think there are a lot of question marks. There's a question mark over they've not done it before. There's a question mark over, their ability to hold their nerve when it's City chasing them. And then there's a question mark over the key injury. And how good is this depth? It looks good. It sounds good. The players that they have there available to them to fill in these spots should be good enough. But shoulda, woulda, coulda. You have to go and do it now. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So that's where I am.
So if you go back probably about 4 weeks ago on the Football Terrace, we were talking about Arsenal. And surprising. And a question obviously came up, and it was to do with Arsenal up to the international break. Well, it was about Arsenal like over the next few games, and I said all of like their fixtures were pretty much winnable, and I said their biggest problem was going to come after the international break because that was when the hardest fixtures Arsenal had. And then long behold, they've lost Gabriel now over these toughest fixtures. So if say going forward, they've got Spurs. So this is just Premier League: Spurs, Chelsea, Brentford, Villa, and then Wolves on the 13th of December. I mean, that's gonna be an easy game. But if suddenly,
no, we haven't got that far. We're about to talk about Wolves and Rob Edwards, right? You just slow your roll a bit. With 20 more teams to go.
Well, I mean, God,
we'll get there.
But the thing is, so you could potentially see now with losing the likes of Gabriel and stuff and having an unsettled squad, they could be potentially dropping points against this. And flipping big baldy Pep is, you can very much see him going on this crazy win, especially with Haaland's form is just unbelievable. I swear to God, I've been one of the people that have spoke about this man so much because he is just an enigma. People just don't talk about him enough because they just see him smashing in 2 goals per game and they just think it's normal. That just isn't normal. And if he's going to be the reason City will either win or won't win the title. Basically, I think that's going to be the difference.
Example of a key injury is imagine he gets 100%. Injured. Their whole season is in the toilet. There could be in relegation battle. I see Guan Beefman saying hi, guys. Hello. I hope you've hit a like on this video. So look. That's enough Arsenal talk because honestly I can't do it anymore. So we've sort of automatically gone into City there. So we'll stick with them for a little minute. But yeah, he is incredible. It pains me and his face annoys me so much. But there is no denying he is absolutely incredible. If he was to get injured, and do you know what? Irritatingly, he seems like the type of player that just won't get injured. He seems like one of those robust, not injury-prone players, which makes it even worse because you can't even say, oh, well, he'll probably get injured for a few weeks. No, he's probably just going to play all the games and score all the goals. Which
do you know what his biggest problem is? He's so good, he'll score say 2 or 3 goals by 60 minutes, and then Pep will just bring him off. Yeah. And that is the best part of Haaland's game because he's so prolific and so clinical. He has the ability to just get saved at the end of games, which is the reason why he might end up not getting injured. It's what happened so much in his first few seasons.
Maybe he'll stub his toe. I hope somebody moves his bed overnight and he just stubs his toe.
Listen, if he does what Cole Palmer did, he will. You never know.
That's what I mean. Maybe they could be bunk buddies. But so, do you think at this moment in time, City or Arsenal are more likely to win the league right now? Quick answer.
I already said this weeks ago. I said 80% of my mind is on City.
I agree with you. And I know you were told you were mental, but I agree with you. You did.
No. And the reason why I said that wasn't because I had any hate towards Arsenal. It's because the whole point of what I said, I can just see Arsenal drawing some games, and whereas City is more than likely going to win them. Because I think the thing City will do this season, they won't have many draws. They'll either have lots of wins and a few more losses. But you would prefer to have wins and a few extra losses than loads of draws. It's at the end of the day,
draws
3 points. 3 points compared to 1 is massive.
Yeah.
3 draws is the equivalent to winning 1 game. So that's why I'm always in the position of. That's why I love an attacking minded manager, because being able to just go and just win the game or lose it, I prefer that. But so that's why
I see Twisted is saying Arsenal, which I find very interesting because obviously you and I agree on that. So it is actually interesting to have somebody say something different. Chat, what do you think? Because we've got Billy, we've got Dave, Guess is in there. Folks, what do you think? Do you agree with me and Ash? Do you think City is more likely than Arsenal to win the league? Obviously, Twisted has told us that he thinks Arsenal. Let us know why. Why do you? Who and why? I just think.
Twisted, is your thought at all changed with the Gabriel injury? I'm intrigued in that as well.
That's curious. So we're going to move on to Chelsea. Is there anything else you want to say about City? I just don't want to spend too much on the top teams because honestly, it's stuff that's talked about 60 million times. So I don't want to bore people to that. But we'll come back if Twisted comes back to us. Trav, hello. City have losses in them. Trav, you're Arsenal, aren't you? I'm pretty sure I'm right that Trav is Arsenal.
Yeah, he is.
harder for us to lose games, City. So Trav is basically saying that he reckons that City are more likely to lose than Arsenal. And I think, given how good Arsenal's defence have been, that is a good thing. But with Gabriel out, is that going to change? Is their defensive record going to change? Or Trav, do you feel who is going to be stepping in? Who steps in for Gabriel? Who's it most likely to be? Because I'm assuming that means then you feel that the standard of the defense. Do you know what it is? I'm actually
it'd be Mascara, won't it?
I'm so bad. I know all their names, but ask me where they are. So, Travis, who do you think is who do you think is most likely to step in for Gabriel Mascara? So, or how do you say that name? Hinsapia. I'm going to have to look that up. How do you say it? Yeah, but I don't think anyone says it's right. Hello, Mama. Thanks for joining. Don't worry about you. Me and Ash have been waffling anyway. But
I think it's basically guaranteed to be Mascara, by the way. Mascara.
What's he going to do? Stick some eyeliner on with that? But no, what I reckon is basically the Arsenal fans, represented by Trav, are saying that they don't feel their defence is going to get any worse or drop significantly with Gabriel being out because their squad depth is good enough to continue as it has. In which case, if that happens, if Mascara comes in and is an absolute blinder, does unreal, and their defensive structure doesn't drastically worsen, then you would have to say Trav is maybe right. Now, I think City, but I think I'm coloured by the fact that we've seen City do it so many times. They're like Haaland. They're like a bloody machine. They just do it. And Arsenal are not known for just doing it. So I'll believe it when I see it. If it happens, I won't be like, oh my God, the world has ended. I might not speak to my brother for a month. But I think when you're predicting the future, it's informed by the past. And at the moment, City's recent history is better.
I think if you watch City, like they've been started to kick in gear. Like a lot of their players are starting to actually perform and get to the levels. Like Doku over the last month has been unbelievable. Nico Riley's looks amazing. Phil Foden's getting back to the point of how he used to be. You got to remember, Phil Foden's not at all. No. He's a shadow of a player of how he used to be. Mm. And if he now gets back towards the level of where he normally is, it's I'm slightly worried because they're an unbelievable team, and I've said they have a very similar spine to how they did with when they won the treble, and they've put the likes of say Donnarumma in net, which is the best people in the world.
She's like, I just don't like City. You know what? I think a lot of us feel that way.
Listen, we've got City at home this weekend, so
right. So that's fair. So Travis come back a good bit, and he said that basically City are currently in a bit of a transition, which I'm assuming is from last season. They had such a bad season. They're kind of transitioning back into gear. And he's counting on Arsenal continuing how they have been. And he finds it hard to see them losing against Spurs. I also find it hard to see them losing against Spurs, to be quite fair. So, but what I will say, sorry, I'm thinking two things at once and my brain can't make the sentence come out. Good when you're talking on here for ages. But no, I think it's good because it feels like we've a race. I hated last year, and not just because Liverpool won, but because it was just done. There was no excitement. At least this actually is a race. This is a genuine race. And I know there's a couple of points in it, but it feels exciting, which I think is important. I think it's good. Which brings me on to Chelsea. Now, after Don's performance today on the football terrace. We're not going to say bad things about Don because he's a nice person. But
he is. But I think delusion was sinking in today. I don't know if this international break has done something to him, but bro was being delusional.
No, when Sam played back the thing, and he literally said exactly. But anyway, we're not going to laugh.
You know when he said that, right?
10 places above us.
So I heard him say that. I went into a shop. I came back. I went on my phone because I was driving back, and I heard him say I never said that, and I was like, I 100% heard you say that because it was the last thing I heard before I came off the stream.
But you know what it was?
Oh
He said so many things between saying that and then when he was told he said it, I genuinely think he forgot. I think he says so many things he forgot. But I don't have as much confidence in Chelsea as John does. However, when we did our pre-season predictions for the table, I put Chelsea winning the league. I don't think David is aware of this, so let's not tell him. Don't look at me like that.
I don't think I knew that. What?
Well, it's in there. So I also have United to finish 5th. But anyway, we're getting to that. I think it wasn't that I was fully convinced Chelsea were going to win the league, being honest. It was that I didn't want to predict Liverpool, who I actually thought were going to win the league, and I couldn't bring myself to write that down, so I didn't. But my thing is, Chelsea have been working on this team. They've been refining this team. They've been bringing in these players. They're cultivating the talent. They're selling the ones they don't want on. They've been building and phasing and doing all of these things for years. We've been talking about this system for years, their transfer policy for years. How many years are they allowed to do it before we start talking about them in terms of a title? At what point do they have to do something? Because they've been working on this forever.
Chelsea is very weird to me because obviously they kind of exploited this like sort of thing within the contract system where they could have had like contracted like their players for like 8 years and stuff, which it was very weird. So they have a lot of young talent, and I still don't think that they're there yet. I think without Cole Palmer, they're not they're missing so much because like you think like the likes of what Garnacho, Esteval. Yeah, Esteval's got a lot of potential, but he's so young.
About Garnacho, you and I, have we ever had that conversation? What do you think? The way you've said that, what do you think of Garnacho?
I think he's an unbelievable talent, but he got lost a bit along the way at Man United. Yeah. But when I first saw him back when he first joined Man United and stuff, I thought that you guys found another, not necessarily Ronaldo, but
a bit of a diamond.
That sort of category of that level. It was like when you guys bought that Ahmed. I remember I saw the fucking transfer. It was like 35 million or something for this like young kid that no one's ever heard of, and I was like, "Who the hell is this person?" Yeah, I was like, "Who the heck is this person?" But I was like, I thought you guys did a similar sort of thing with Garnacho. I think he is incredibly talented. I think he's one of the most talented players I've seen in a very long time. But there's something up with him that he just can't have end product. He reminds me a bit of a better version of Alan Saint-Maximin. That man was so much talent, zero end product. So if like he's still very young and still has a lot to learn, if he can potentially be nurtured a bit more, you got to remember he's played like.
Do you think Chelsea can do that?
No,
because they have so many young players.
I don't think a team like Chelsea can, because I think they demand too much. They have so much of a high turnover with players. I don't think a player like that will be able to settle in that well. I think if he doesn't perform, even just in this season, I can already see him being put on loan or sold to somewhere else even next season, just for how they've been.
When his transfer was happening, I said I would have loved to see him go to Villa, because I agree with you. I think he's incredibly talented. See, just raw talent, he's unbelievable.
It was like that bicycle kick or whatever he did for you guys. In that
that one in the Puskas. He got the Puskas for that. Yeah.
I was like, that's not a normal thing to do.
He's a little piece of magic. But you know what it is? First of all, he was looking at those around him, like Rashford and Sancho, and thought, oh, I'm going to behave like that. Terrible. Yeah. Our structure, terrible. So we weren't, helping any youth players at all. And then see what you said there. You thought he was the next sort of big thing. He was a diamond in the rough. He thought that too. And then he had people around him telling that too. And then he was put in by Eric Ten Hag. but then he was put in because we didn't have the right players and the right team. And so he was pushed through by Eric Ten Hag, and he was playing for the first team. He went from like nothing to first team regular, like boom. And I just think we effed it up and he didn't help. So I think and I agree with you, he's young enough. If he was with the right manager in the right structure, if somebody could rein him, I think he could be unbelievable.
He just needs to have that player.
Chelsea's the place. I think, see if he had went to Villa with Emery, and it's an established team, it's a settled team, and Emery would not take that nonsense. And I think that would be the right environment for him to grow. And I think he could. I don't know if he's going to be able to do it at Chelsea, because at Chelsea, he's one of the experienced players because he's been around the Premier League now, and he's not. Up here, he's not. So I think he might do okay, but I don't think it's where for him he should have went. But the real question is this title race a two-way race or a three-way race? Is Chelsea in the race?
I personally don't think they are. I've already said this, like, from the end of last season.
Well, you didn't say it here, so say it again.
No, I'm saying, like, I've always said this. If you look at towards the end of last season, right, 2 games before the end of the season, we were in touching distance of Arsenal. Chelsea was below us, and the only reason why Chelsea ended up overtaking us was because we flopped the last 2 games of the season, because Isak was looking somewhere else. So how I keep on seeing this, how the hell can people say Chelsea is in the title race and haven't done a massive amount over summer compared to, like, say, what we've done, and say the likes of Newcastle and stuff like that haven't even been spoke about to be in the title race? I think people are just going back to historically, Chelsea is this title challenging team over the past 15 plus years, like especially since obviously the Abramovich era, they have been. So I think that becomes a bit of it, and I think people maybe need to understand that they're not, especially with Cole Palmer. I remember last year there was a stat of like Cole Palmer was like 70% of the reason why they got certain points when he was in and when he was out. Like, he was massively the reason, and there was a reason for it, because he's an unbelievable talent, but he's not being fit. So
but that brings us back to what we were talking about before. If a key player gets an injury or isn't on it, so like the way Salah has been for Liverpool, just not on it, it can completely change the look of a season for a whole team.
Look, I will say this,
I can't believe Chelsea have clawed their way to third, because they were nowhere near it 2 weeks ago.
No, that's what I was going to say. Is, look, the weird thing for me of what you're saying there is Chelsea has, like, really confused me, because they've not had their best players. They kept on getting red cards in games. Like, they were being so undisciplined, but yet somehow they're third.
Yeah,
I think they've just been getting goals, and like they've looked really good. Like, obviously Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez, I think, is kicked on a bit this season. I think he looks good.
Do you not think that maybe that speaks for them? So they've had an unbelievable amount of red cards. They've not had a good start to the season, but they're third. So
I know that's the weird thing.
Together, and if, for example, Arsenal are really affected by Gabriel, is there a chance that Chelsea might take advantage? If Arsenal lose the plot and Chelsea get it together, could it just go with it?
I mean, look, there's always a chance, but I personally still don't think Chelsea are at the level yet. I think they're just under it. I think if you go look at next transfer window, I would see then they probably should be going to push. But at the moment, I still don't think they're just at that level. But then again, like I say, it depends on the likes of how Arsenal and City are. Because if they just suddenly drop points, then of course Chelsea can be, because it all depends on how other teams are. So there's always a possibility if they stay around the 3rd or 4th area. Because
they have to stay. Now, Steve, I'm going to come to you in a wee minute. I see your chat. I'm coming to it. But exceptional username, huge sharts. Chelsea rely so much on Caicedo's work rate. They do go on runs, but then drop. They were very fortunate to get Champions League last season, and they haven't changed much in the summer. Chelsea had the easier start in the league. Another few weeks will reveal if they can be up there. that's a good kind of take as well. You have to look at the teams that have been faced and the teams that are left to be faced. So that's something I'm going to talk about when we get to United, because we faced all the big boys already. We have a reasonably smooth run, as smooth as it can get in the Premier League. So I do think that that's a really good point, and it does make an impact. Dave boy, Ash, if the league votes against this stupid spending rules, surely Newcastle will become as big as City. That's to do with the squad percentage.
The salary cap.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like,
but they're talking about changing PSR and all, and it's going to be like a percentage of your income and your.
80%.
I haven't looked into it, but 80 or 85. That's going to really benefit some teams. If that, I think, did Seb say earlier that's in? He put something in the group chat, but I didn't properly look at it because I was closing the shop. So I didn't say that'll be very interesting. We must actually have a look at that. But look, No, you go, because after this I'm going to Sunderland.
Yeah, but I think it's an interesting one to do with a lot of the spending stuff, because I think the Premier League at this point is at a weird place that if you do anything to do with spending, it allows a lot of the bigger teams to kick on. Yeah. Say the likes of City and all that, who have literally been. What's what Mum Foster just said? It's a new name now. 85% on what? Yeah, that's what I thought it was. But the biggest problem that brings in is I'm presuming it's still to do with that salary cap and everything. So, but basically, it's just like, say, you will have the highest earners still on the highest earners, but then there'll be like players in your team that'll be on like basically nothing. So I'm not personally a big fan of it. That's the other thing. That's the other thing is UEFA has its own salary.
You know what it is? See this thing of like all the different competitions having different rules. Like, I understand they're completely separate entities, but no harm. It's a lot of the same teams. I mean, can we not just make one rule that's a really good one and slap it across? I mean,
it would make sense. Easier. Yeah, it would make a lot more sense. But yeah, look, I said personally, I don't necessarily want to just spend a load of money. You
want to earn it, don't you? You want to get better organically. Obviously, a little bit of money helps. No teams. But I mean, I wouldn't want to buy my way to the top, because it would feel like City's titles, and I don't want that.
Yeah, that's exactly why. Like, I'm so happy in the position that I'm in. That why when people say, "Oh, do you want Eddie Howe out?" I'm like, hell no. Like, I want us to be this organic team that. Even in 4 years' time, even if we've gone on a bit of a rut and not looked amazing, but we're stuck back by our manager and we are seeing bits of improvement, it will feel so much better to me, because at the end of the day, I'm not used to seeing Premier League titles. No surprise there. So it's like, I would prefer to do it in an organic way, and I think it has a lot more. Like, you think about Leicester, everyone talks about.
Well, I was going to say, speaking about doing things organically. And as Twisted says, spending money doesn't guarantee success. We have Steve, and Steve says it's a 4-way title race, and we are doing a 2016 Leicester City. So I am assuming, his logo is very small, but I'm assuming that means Steve is a Sunderland fan. Steve, welcome to the chat.
Judging by his picture, and
I can't see it. It's tiny on my screen. Is it Sunderland? My
Sunderland
eyesight's terrible. Look at the size of these glasses, Ash. I can't see a thing, but it looked like a Sunderland badge, so I was going with it. But you know what, Steve? I'm backing you. If United's not going to do it, I am backing Sunderland. I hope you smash the whole lot of them. And you know what? They've been so overlooked. See the amount of shows I've seen on YouTube by really big content creators that profess to love football and love the league and blah blah blah. Oh, but not Sunderland. Oh, well, not Bournemouth. Oh, well, we'll talk about realistic. I'm sorry. We're nearly a third of the way into the season, and they're in 4th. I mean, they didn't get there by accident. They got there because they're winning. So I would like to put a bit of respect on Sunderland's name. I don't think it's a 4-way title race, but they could actually get themselves into Europe. What do you think? Because honestly, I just feel like they're not getting enough credit.
If you want me to be completely honest,
I want you to be nice to my friends.
Be honest. I genuinely think Sunderland might end up finishing around 10th to 12th. I think you sometimes see teams go on a very good start and like with the likes of Granit Xhaka and everything, he's brought that in. Sunderland has a lot of players that are going to AFCON, like an insane amount. Yes, they have a lot. They have a lot of players that are going to AFCON. So I think that's going to affect them. You've got to think, right? Forest the last season was doing absolutely amazing, and then they started falling off. I think all it takes is stuff like this. Is they don't have the ability to be able to keep them pushing. It'll take a few games of doing back-to-back losses, and then they'll be out. I still think the likes of Spurs, Villa, us, Man United, Liverpool, Crystal Palace, Brighton, I think all of them will still finish above them. So I think that just naturally pushes them down. I think they'll still do well. I don't want them to get relegated because I want us to get some free points from Stadium of Shite every single year.
Oh, so I forgot about that rivalry. Actually, I genuinely completely forgot. My bad.
That's why I was like, when you started talking to me about wanting me to talk about Sunderland, I'm trying to be sort of nice because I told you this,
you're doing very well, Ash.
Hey, listen, we're playing them on the 13th of December, and I've told you half my family live in Sunderland. And if we lose to Sunderland, it's ruining Christmas, and I am never going to see my family. So it's on them if you want me to have a good Christmas or not. Just lose. That's all you got to do. Because I literally
I'm not sure they're worried about your Christmas, Ash.
I went up to Sunderland the other day, right? And I had my uncle sat there in a full Sunderland kit whilst Newcastle was on, and we were getting slapped up. And I have never been so unhappy in my life. Like that, and not to mention it was a 2.5 drive hour back, and I was just sat there, just so unhappy. So
you know what though, your uncle sounds like a really fun guy. But you know what? I see Steve. Steve is saying, all jokes aside, I would still take 17th. Do you know what? I don't think they're going down to 17th.
Yeah, I don't think
that's the aim, is you don't want to go up and back down. I don't believe that nearly a third of the way through the season they're in 4th, and then they're going to capitulate to the point of going down to 17th. I don't see it. Now, maybe they will. I don't see it. Twisted, you'd be nice to guess.
Look,
I see this.
At the end of the day, the way you have to look at it, typically over the past fair few years, what's happened is the 3 teams that have came up from the Championship has gone straight back down. So any sort of team that comes up, the first thing they have to look at is staying in. And I like I said, I honestly could see Sunderland finish around 12th or something, which is massive.
It is massive, to be fair.
Yeah. And then they've just got
Spurs and United last season. So I mean, I can't say anything. Either can you, where your team is, which we're going to get to. But also, I was just having a quick look here while you were talking. Their match, so they're playing Fulham tomorrow. That's a winnable game for them. So it's not that they're coming back after international break, that they're a bit kind of, do you know, I always think, see, the first match after international break for every team, I think is always just a bit chaos because nobody really knows. It depends how many players. And maybe that's something that will stand them. It depends how many players you've had away at international break, or has your team still been more or less training fully together. Now, I don't know Sunderland's whole team, but I imagine they have less people away than maybe some of the Arsenals, the Liverpools.
Well, like I said, they've got quite a lot of players that are in AFCON. So
that could be their undoing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That could be really rough, because I know we're looking at just Ahmad and Mbeumo, and it's already going to be a bit of a disaster. But yeah, Fulham's a winnable game for them. The game after that is Bournemouth. If they can take points at Bournemouth, if they beat Fulham and they can even get a point at Bournemouth, they're still looking good.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They drew Arsenal.
The thing is that that's what they'll be looking at. They'll be looking at those 2 games, because the 3 games after that it's a bit mad. Liverpool away.
They've taken 3 points off Chelsea, and they've taken a point off Arsenal. So they're not, do you know what I mean? It's not that they've got all easy games. They have played some of the big teams, and they've taken points away from them. So I just think, you know what? It's this dismissive stuff. It's this thing of we'll talk about realistic. How do you know what's realistic? Football isn't realistic. It's literally all mental. So
it's a weird thing. I could, like you said, I could see them potentially getting 3 points at Fulham tomorrow. That's not a crazy shout. The Bournemouth game, honestly, I would never bet on that game because I have no idea how that will go because of Semenyo. I'm
sorry, I'm not laughing at you. Twisted is in the chat, making friends. by calling Guess an old girl. So I think we might need to have a word with him later about his friend making ability. Steve is in response to your comments about the AFCON. I know, sorry, he distracts me so much. Right. Steve has said that Sunderland could have those players back after a week or two, depending how they get on in the tournament. So that's also a fair point. If their teams aren't going to last too long, they might not have to worry about it too much. And obviously, we all want our players to be very happy. We also want them to go out of international football so they can play for our clubs. It's
because the biggest issue with stuff like, say, AFCON and stuff in international break, you have to think, say, even from the Newcastle point of view, we bought Wissa, he went to DR Congo and got injured, and he's been injured since. Like, it's not necessarily about, like, at the end of the day, I personally, I'm one of the people that actually loves international. Like, I watch so many games of international, but it does. You often play against weaker and lower opposition that are more prone to doing these Sunday league tackles and stuff like that, which creates these injuries a lot more common. So
and a lot of them get injured in training and stuff. Like,
well, yeah. I mean, they've got to. To be fair, they have to train like it's an actual game, but it's.
Yeah, but I just feel like train at home.
Yeah.
Although even home isn't safe if you're Cole Palmer. Sorry, I shouldn't laugh at him, but you know what it is, honestly. Do you know how many times I've stubbed my toe and I've been like, do you know, I feel like I've broke it. Now I feel like maybe some of the toes it actually was broken.
do you know what? I can't even laugh because so when my daughter was like 1 or something, I was carrying her downstairs and I slipped on a step because I've got big feet, all right, and like my feet don't really like go on steps properly. My little toe got caught on the skating board and went backwards while the rest of my foot went forward. So I was like, I can't even say anything.
It's supposed to do that.
No, I mean it broken off when I did it, but yeah. Wasn't that
right?
So I can't even say anything because I'm flipping it.
I think we've come to the conclusion that Sunderland I think they're going to get European football. Not necessarily Champions League, but I think they might get European football.
I think that's a crazy shout. I don't think
I love a crazy shout. Why not?
I mean,
right. Aston Villa,
okay, so
Aston Villa was like losing the plot, and now suddenly they're good again. We know Spurs can completely capitulate. Liverpool don't even know what position they're in.
So that's what I'm saying. So who do you think?
I have
who do you think they're going to?
I love it.
Who do you think they're going to knock out for a European football spot? Because I personally can't see it.
Villa.
Villa.
Right. No, how many? What if 5 go to the Champions League? How far down do you go for Europa?
10. Say it's 10th.
No. Am I thinking Conference League?
Conference League. Conference League. I think
Conference League.
7th or 8th last year. Yeah, it's not as high as it's not as low as what you think.
I thought it was more. Oh no, maybe they won't get European football. I think they'll be in the top 10.
Yeah, that's what I said. Like, I could say if they get anywhere between 10th and 12th, that's massive. I'm pretty sure Conference League was 7th last year.
Was it? I really thought it was more than that.
No.
Yeah, you Google it because I'm underprepared. I mean, in fairness, it's not something I normally have to look at. We're either all the way up the top or we're not in it at all.
7th was Conference League last year.
Just 7.
Oh wait, that's. It's so confusing because of the people who like so many of the teams like
5th, right? If 1st to 5th is Champions League.
But
then you went to the Europa.
2.
Oh, is it only 2? Oh, that's disappointing.
Wait, how many? Obviously, it all depends on stuff like, say, FA Cups and all.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It changes every year. I can't keep a track of it. Right. I think they're going to be in the top 10. I think they're very good. And you know what? Even if they absolutely lose the run of themselves, I think they've done absolutely unreal for a team that's just come up. And I think people need to stop sleeping on them. But we'll probably need to move on to Spurs. Spurs in 5th. You go first, because I just don't know how I feel about Spurs and I need to think about it.
Spurs has got the best away record in the Premier League right now and has the worst home record. How the hell does that make sense?
Say that again.
They have the best away record.
Right.
Like, so playing away at a ground.
Yeah.
In the whole Premier League. and the worst home record.
I think we did that. Do you remember when we had Ollie and we went on that like mental unbeaten away run, and then we were just losing in Old Trafford like the whole time? So I mean, can relate, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, I think
you know what I think. Sometimes it's the pressure of being in front of your own fans in your home ground, and then when you're away, there's not as many. You can sort of see. I think when you're at home in your own ground in front of all your own fans, I think there's an expectation that you have to play a certain way. You have to play on the front foot. You have to show them who's boss, whose house it is. This is our place. Blah blah blah. And I think when you go away, you can play a wee bit more pragmatic. You can hold in a wee bit more. You can play in a different way. And obviously that's working for them. Yeah. But I mean, Spurs...
I mean, Thomas Franks looked good, but Spurs has looked good. Yeah. I still think they're missing stuff. I think they're going to fall down. Like I said, I think them
they're
having...
just not convincing.
Well, they have Champions League as well, which I think is a big issue for them. And I think now they're starting to see that, because their recent form in the last 5 games, so they won one, loss, draw, and then obviously they've got Arsenal now, so it's
likely. I think that's going to be another loss. So they're going to be loss, draw, loss.
Yeah, and then midweek they've got PSG away, and then Fulham. I could see them beating Fulham, but then they've got us at home, which we slapped them at home last time 2-0.
Do you know what it is though? They probably will beat Fulham, but I wouldn't say definitely. Twisted, we're getting to it. But we're working our way down. But do you know what it is with Spurs? I think it's the same as Arsenal. They're just not convincing. You just don't look at them and go, yes.
I just don't think they have a strong enough squad. I think the defense of like Mickey van der Ven, I think, has been absolutely amazing. Jed Spencer's looked quite good. Obviously, I think Xavi Simons has looked okay at times. I think he still needs some improvements, but they still have so much to work on and stuff that I still don't see this being a season that they're either going to get European football. I think they're going to drop down.
I think we go above them. I think Liverpool goes above them, potentially Bournemouth, Brighton. Like, I just don't. I see them dropping down. I just don't see it.
They finished 17th last season. They've got Champions League football. It's...
Yeah.
Yes, they had a different manager, but still.
Spurs, and I'm basing this purely off Kate because she's quite a calm individual. Spurs fans are quite like the ones I know of. They're quite level-headed for the most part. Now, the internet is different because everyone's a bit crazy on the internet. But I mean, they don't seem to be losing the plot. Do you know, they seem happy enough with Frank and do you know what he's doing? But are they a wee bit split? Or are they... I don't know a lot of Spurs fans, so I'm literally going off Kate.
So I've heard a lot of Spurs fans and like expressions who goes to the ground was talking about that all the fans are very much behind Thomas Frank. I think they're behind the team as well. But like I said, I think it's too big of a jump for them to go from 17th to challenging with having Champions League. So like I said, I can see them falling off to anywhere between in that group of like 8th to 12th.
Yeah,
like I think I could see them finishing somewhere between there.
I think to fall down as well. Now I have to say, Villa are in 6th, considering the start to the season Aston Villa had. To claw their way up into 6th, I think is absolutely phenomenal. Like,
do you want to know something?
Wins in their last 5 games. Go on.
Do you want to know something though? So I did a like sort of a Premier League table calculator. I went through results at the start of the season.
Did you consult Anton before you did this?
I most definitely did not do that. And actually, I said at the end of September, Villa was actually going to be the only team that was unbeaten, and holy shit did they prove me wrong. They were at the bottom of the table at this point, but evidently they're kind of showing exactly how I thought they were going to be and doing exactly where they are. Like, I think people need to realise all that Villa really did was lose players. They didn't buy anyone. They had a very weird transfer season. I think they were suffering some PSR stuff, you could tell. Because I mean, obviously we ended up buying the likes of flipping what's it flipping? Jacob Ramsey. We bought them from Villa. So yeah, Villa's sort of where I thought they were going to be. To be honest, I think
do you think they'll drop a little, or do you think they'll maintain it?
I mean, they've got Leeds, the game this weekend. I can see them beating them, and then they've got Wolves. Again, I can see that being a winnable game. So far in those 2 games, I can see them getting 6 points out of them.
I don't know if it'll be as easy as you're saying. They might win those games. They're maybe the favourites going into those games, but I find those types of games, they're scrappy. There's goals in them. Wolves are going to be coming into a new manager bounce. They're going to be fighting tooth and nail for every point they can get. It could be the worst time to play a team like that. They're coming back in after international break with a new manager.
You see, I get that, but Unai Emery is so good at being like, he's just such a good manager at being able to keep his team like focused and in a good structure. So I personally, I could see them getting 6 points from the next 2 games. Then they've got Brighton. That's also potentially another winnable fixture at the Amex. And then they've got Arsenal at home, which, I mean, I would probably still say Arsenal would win, but I could also see that being a draw or Villa even winning. Like, I can see Villa again going for the anywhere between 5th to 8th. I could see this season.
You know what it is? All the teams are so competitive this season. Like, I love it, but it makes it so hard to predict anything because it's so competitive. Because like what you said to me before, okay, but who drops out for them? Who stays out for them to stay up? Like, and it's really, really hard. But I see there, Steve has come in and said Emery was close to walking away from Villa. It seemed like he had completely lost the dressing room and then completely turned it around. And I do think Emery is that type of manager. He just has that touch of class about him. And he's one of those. And as you're saying, you know, he's the type of manager that can really hold a team together. And then you've Trusted Baba on the other side going, Villa will finish 10th at best.
You see, this is where I could agree with Twisted in saying that, because Emery is so good at winning the Europa League. He could potentially sack off some Premier League games if they're going to win Europa. I could see that happening. That would be an amazing thing. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah. And
it's not as if it's never been done before.
Yeah, well, I know. I mean, I don't blame him. Like, if I had the chance of winning like the Champions League, if I would lose some games in the Premier League, I would happily take that because I'll
cope.
I like literally. So it's like I could see it. Like at the end of the day, if they carry on losing and come out of Europa, I could see Emery maybe leaving. But as long as Emery stays there and they're still pushing on like this, I can see them easily carrying on the way they are. They're 6th, but they're looking incredibly well.
Do you think the Europa will impact them in the Prem then?
To be honest, I don't think so. I think it's on the exact opposite, which is the weird thing, because before Europa, they were losing all the bloody games. Since they've been doing Europa and everything, they've found their form. I don't know what it is, but to be fair, sometimes it happens that
you get a rhythm.
It's not, but also if you don't play, sometimes you prioritize certain competitions over others, which is, we'll talk about what's happening with us later, because I think that's what's happening.
There.
But I think what's happening is they started playing. I think they were a bit demotivated to do the Premier League, seeing all players going out and everything. Started playing Europa, realized we actually want to win this, so we need to get games up. Not to mention, you got to remember, right, salary of a player. So I think it's about 15% bonus if you're in Europa and like 25% bonus if you're in Champions League. These players want extra money, so they have to work for it and stuff. Exactly. So it's like
take a bit of that.
they need to kick back in gear, and they have done so. No.
Yeah. Well, look, obviously United next. I just think we're unreal. But go on, you go.
I do. I mean, what did I say? I said earlier on, I could see.
Yeah, you said third, didn't you?
Yeah.
Tell the people what you said, Ash.
So, right, I said I could see Man United potentially finishing third if it gets to January and you guys buy 2 midfielders, say the likes of belabor and say Elliot Anderson or Adam Wharton or someone like that, or even a Semenyo, because he's got a release clause. Like if you get, say, the likes of Adam Wharton and Semenyo, or like Semenyo and Elliot Anderson or something. Granted, I don't think Elliot Anderson would go in the January transfer window. I think that could honestly fix so many of Man United's problems. But because of the likes of,
likely that Manchester United buy 2 players in a January transfer window?
I can 100% see Semenyo going, and if Man United wants him, listen. So many clubs want Semenyo, so it's going to be the case of, if you actually want him, you have to buy him in this January transfer window, and I think that may influence some people. Adam Wharton, like I said, I also think he's going to be gone by the end of the season. So I think if Man United are serious and they see the likes of Liverpool's fall off, they'll be thinking, maybe we can get in that Champions League spots, and that's a big influx of money.
Do you think the top 3 then is going to be Arsenal, City, United, or City, Arsenal, United?
I think it would be City, Arsenal, Man United if you guys buy those 2 players in the January transfer window, and you keep up sort of like the form you've been showing. If you get a few more wins, not really lose many games and up till December, at the end of December, I could very much see that. Like, in all honesty, which is weird for me, because I thought you guys would be bottom half of the table.
What's even weirder is you and Twisted have agreed. So Twisted has said, United are my dark horses this season. It could be a very special season. In contrast, we have our Dave says, I wish Emery was at United instead of the clown we have. So some of our fans do not have a lot of confidence in our manager. Now, I'm probably not quite as excitable as you in terms of saying 3rd. However, I do think we finish in the top 5. I think what happened when Sir Jim Ratcliffe came out and publicly said Amorim stays no matter what for 3 years, that seemed to be a real turning point, because for so many years our players have gotten used to change a manager, change a system. We don't like it. We just down tools and it'll change again. And so many times, like even the likes of the United stand, big fan communities, big, prominent United fans are saying the club need to come out and publicly back the manager, regardless of who the manager is, back the office of manager against player power and see what happens. Sir Jim has come out and done it. And look at the results we've had since.
Well, at the end of the day, that you've got to think it is. I've always thought people, like, it's good for owners to do that, because there's too much money and too much player power nowadays, that if I have Bruno or anything, I'm thinking, actually, do you know what? I've actually got to perform. If he gets a move to Saudi at the end of this year, he has to show that he's worth it, and people want to buy him. So if people are thinking, do you know what, maybe I actually can't down tools a little bit and I have to really kick on because I've got this manager and we've got to do the best for him, then it gets buy-ins from players, and good. I want more players, want more people to do that. Like, it's the same with the likes of us with the PIF. We had Amanda Staveley and stuff, and Merdad, that was like, Eddie Howe is our guy. He is going to be here. They said publicly they want Eddie Howe to be like our Fergie. And I completely agree. Like, that, as fans, we love hearing that. And it'll tell players, he's not going anywhere. We have to perform and buy into what he wants. And it makes players perform at a higher level. And good.
And you know what it is for me? Happy. They don't even have to mean it. Because I don't think Sir Jim meant that. Yeah. I think, like, if Amorim absolutely, like...
Oh, if he loses 10 games in a row,
he's getting sacked.
Yeah, 100%. But
the players have to feel like he means it. And I think they do. And I think it provides a stability for the fans, a stability for the team, a stability within the club, because it's been so chaotic. It's just... There's the level. There's the ground. That's what we're building on. He's staying for 3 years, no matter what. So suck it up and just do your job. And I agree with you. I think it's a really good thing. Now, I know there's a lot of fans we have, like Dave, that just aren't impressed with Amorim, that won't have been maybe happy to hear that And I see where Dave's coming from in terms of what he's saying there, except for Maguire, who has improved under Amram, no young ones for sure. And I agree to an extent because I have had my concerns about Ruben Amram. I think some of his decision making is wild. I think some of his substitutions are wild. And I don't always really agree with how he presents himself. So for me, after a loss or a few losses and things are rough and your manager's going into press conferences going, I'll leave if they want me to, I don't think that's good. I don't think that projects stability. And I don't think that's what you need from the man who's steering the ship. Like, it wouldn't be the way that I would want. But there have been so many sporting fans that have come out and said, look, it's going to be rough. It's going to be chaos. It's going to be pain. You're not going to like him. But then see when he gets it going, it's going to be unbelievable. And I think we now are starting to feel, since Sir Jim's comments, that there is that solid ground that we're starting to build on. We're starting to see the vision. It needs to be more consistent. It needs to actually stay that way. It can't just be a few games and then we go through another bad patch and then a few games again. It needs to start leveling off. But I am feeling hopeful, and I am feeling like I think we're in the top 5. I do.
So your next 5 games, tell me this, Lou.
Who are
Everton at home?
Yeah. I reckon we win. Yeah.
Palace away?
I think that'll be hard because I think Palace are a good team.
No, I agree. That way is not an easy game.
They're not a team I would want to underestimate, but I would like to see us win that match.
West Ham away?
We should win. We should beat that. I mean, we should
win.
win.
Wolves away?
We should win.
Bournemouth at home?
Draw.
And that is the 15th of December. So you're nearly at the January transfer. That's what I'm saying is so you think those 5 games there, they're
very winnable.
I think every single one of them is a winnable game.
Yeah.
And that's what I was saying. You then get up towards the January transfer window time, and then you look at getting in some midfielders. Even
we just don't have a good history in the January transfer window.
But even if you get one, I think it's going to do wonders to your team.
But I said this earlier, when I was talking to our Dave in the chat, I think a lot of United fans' problems is where Bruno Fernandes is being played because his best position is a number 10. The thing is, we just bought 2 number 10s and they're both really, really good, really good. And I'm sorry, I would take Mbeumo over Bruno every day of the week. I think Cunha has been sort of in and out because he had a wee bit of a niggle. He was a wee bit injured. So maybe that spot is kind of rotation-wise up for grabs. But I don't see that you buy 2 number 10s. He's already got Ment as a number 10 who he loves. He loves Ment. I just don't think the way he's moving, Bruno's going back into number 10.
I'm going to be honest. I'm convinced Bruno has been saying himself that he doesn't want to be a number 10. I'm convinced that is the reason because so many managers have not played him in that position now. For me, when he first came over from Sporting, the first few seasons, he was getting a GA every game. He was unbelievable. And I completely agree. I think he is. He looked like the best number 10 in potentially the league, if not, I wouldn't say maybe Europe, but he's up there.
Yeah.
And I'm just at the point now where I'm seeing the same sort of thing with every sort of manager. He's not being put in this position, and it just makes me think: is this actually because of Bruno instead of a manager? You've got to also
it's definitely a different perspective on it.
Yeah, I think sometimes you just got to put some onus on some players and just think, maybe because it's happened so many times under different managers, maybe it's actually what Bruno's wanted. He wanted a change. And
to be fair, he's not getting any younger, and he's missed a few penalties this season. So maybe he's feeling it in himself. But regardless of the why, a lot of, our fans want a midfielder. So Bruno can go back to 10. My thing is, even if we buy one, I don't think Bruno goes back to 10. I think if we buy a midfielder, it's because Casemiro is likely to be going at the end of the season and Ugarte is not doing much. So I think if we buy a midfielder, it's not so Bruno can go back to the 10. It's to play alongside Bruno.
Yeah. No,
and
I agree.
People need to look at that because it changes it, and it does. And I see so many people saying, "Oh, we need to get a midfielder so Bruno can go back to 10." I just don't think that's what happens.
Yeah, no, I don't think so either. I still think he stays in that sort of like 8-6 role that he's been doing. I don't think he goes up at all. That's why I said I think some of the likes of Elliot Anderson or Belieber, even Semenyo kicking off a bit of Hervard, but I think more realistic, a Belieber or an Elliot Anderson, I think fits your team perfectly and allows Bruno to do clearly whatever he wants because he just doesn't want to be in 10 anymore, clearly.
I'm also curious because we have Collier out on loan. And what I saw of Collier when he played for us in the first team, he would be more of a defensive midfielder. He's solid. He's quite sturdy. I liked him. And then he was put out on loan, and he's a little bit older than some of the other players, the youth players as such we have out on loan. I think he's like 22, so he's a wee bit older. And I'm curious to see, are we planning to keep him and buy one? Or are we planning to move him on and buy two? I don't think we'll buy two in January. We might buy one.
Yeah.
For your reasoning, there's going to be competition for the likes of a Semenyo, but Semenyo would be for like a wing back. It's not even for midfield. So I don't think we're getting a midfielder in January. I think it's going to be the summer. So I think that will change the targets and who's available. But look, I think we're gonna manage 5th, regardless of what we do in January. I think if we reinforce in January, it can only improve our chances. But I just think last season was such an anomaly for us. I think we're actually it feels like we're starting to find our feet a little bit. But it's just so hard to be confident because you just don't know with us. Right, let's look at a few of the chats and then we're going to belt through some of these because we are like way over an hour already. And I don't want, like, people are just going to be like, this is so long, so we'll belt through a few. We don't have to do the bottom half if you don't. We'll stop at Newcastle and then we'll belt through and we'll get to the relegation battle because I do want to cover that instead of just the same old teams the whole time. So can we have Ahmad back? I love Ahmad. He's had a rough season, but I do like Ahmad. And he seems to be building a relationship with Mbeumo, which I do like. So I'm interested to see how that starts to develop because I think that might bring the best out of Ahmad. And they seem to be kind of rotating. They're not like if Mbeumo starts forward of Ahmad, they seem to be kind of swapping as the match is going on or as the play is happening. So I'm finding that interesting. Don't blame Amram for United's previous recruitment. No, I wouldn't blame Amram for United's previous recruitment, but Mbeumo and Cunha were bought in his time, so he would have had a say on those, and I wouldn't blame him. I would give him credit. I would swap him for yours. All right, so bored Dave by interested or having a chat. Cool. So let's Liverpool. I forgot about Liverpool. Oops. Right. Do we think Liverpool get their season back on track?
Yeah.
Do you think they get back into a title race?
No.
Do you think they can get their season back on track even if Salah doesn't get back on track?
Yeah, I think they will finish 3rd, 4th, or 5th.
I agree with you. I think they're in a top 4 race. I don't think they're in a title race. And I think sometimes shit happens. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the way it is.
At the end of the day, they've had a lot of change of players.
They've had a lot of change. And I know Slot is there a season. So that didn't happen in the summer. But when you have someone like Klopp, like when Pep leaves City, it does make an impact, and I think that impact lasts longer than a few months. So I still think, so they've changed their manager. Obviously, they lost Jota. Then they had the stuff with Trent, and then the Isak debacle. I just think they've had so much, and then one of their key players that they rely on consistently in Salah is just not. He just doesn't seem to be quite there this season.
Yeah.
That's a lot. That's a lot of things in one go.
And
in a very short space of time.
Alisson's not been there. Look, I've said this, right. I feel like I've been a bit of Liverpool's lawyer, to be honest, because I feel like there is a reason why they are the place they are. It's the same why I think it's the same sort of logic that I've got towards also Newcastle, which I can't really be hypocritical and say there's reasons why we're underperforming and not say there's reasons why Liverpool are underperforming. Of course there are. So
I do. I think to come back into the season, I don't think they're in the title race though, and I think next season they'll be back at it again.
Yeah, at the end of the day, nowadays Premier League to be in the title race, you have to be near on perfect.
Yeah. And they're just not. It's one of them seasons. That's it. It's done. Do you know what I mean? But I don't think they're like gonna like fall off completely either. So I think they'll probably move up a wee bit, but not. I think Spurs and Villa will fall down a bit. Sunderland will probably fall down a wee bit. I think United and Liverpool will go up a bit. No, I'm flying the Sunderland flag, honestly, unless they try and take our European spot and then they can sod off.
Sunderland. Right, Lou, I've got a question for you. I need a quick fire answer.
Yes.
Say, hi, my name is Lou in Portuguese.
Oi, meu nome é Luísa. Eu falo português. I lived in Brazil.
Yeah, I know, but I still...
Do you see the city that Cunha's from? That's where I lived in Brazil, which Hassam knows. He's just a pumpkin. He's talking nonsense.
To be fair, it did sound very Siri-y.
Me and Siri. I am actually the voice of Siri. Lies. But now you know, I've spoken Portuguese live on stream, so stick that in your pipe and smoke it, Hassam. Right, we're going to fly through.
My issue is, right, you could have said absolutely anything. Like, you could have just spoken gibberish. I don't know Portuguese, so I've got absolutely no idea if that was real or not.
Yeah, but one of the lads in Hassam's chat was from Brazil and told him it was real Portuguese. Ignore him. He knows I speak Portuguese. He just bom dia. So there's huge charts saying good morning or like hello. So there you go. Right, now get back. We're 1 hour and 16 minutes into this, Ash. Get your game face on. We're flying. Okay, Bournemouth in 9th. Are they going up or down?
They're still going down.
Okay.
Especially if Semenyo goes in January.
Do you think they sell Semenyo in January?
Wait, he's got a release clause, so I don't think they have a choice.
Oh, that's true. Fair enough. To be fair, if it's 65 in January or 50 in the summer, surely they would want the 65 in January if they're going to lose him anyway. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? But anyway.
Yeah, I think they're just going to keep on going down, to be honest. Like, they've had an unbelievable start, but they've started to go down a bit.
I'm laughing at Flossie and Dave in the chat there. Crystal Palace, and don't forget, Twisted's watching us. So what do you reckon? Crystal Palace were up in the top 6 at one point. And now
I personally still think they've got a chance of Europe? 7th or 8th, I mean, potentially even Europe. But I think Palace is a good team.
Rasta Stocks, yes, we have to win on Monday. But I think Crystal Palace is a good team, and I think they're probably going to stay in that kind of higher end of the middle there. I reckon so too. Brighton have fell off a bit, haven't they? In my head, Brighton's better than 11th, but they just don't. Do you know what it is? Are Brighton very boring? All of their games, are they low-scoring games? I don't know if I've imagined that, but in my head, they're not exciting.
I mean, they've been okay. They're like Danny Welbeck's had a great season.
True.
Belieber's not looked himself. I think it's
no. He's not been right at all. And I'll be honest, I actually don't want him. Controversial.
Really?
I know loads. Yeah, I don't want him.
So the game that we played against Brighton, I would say Belieber was their best player. He looked amazing. Like, I'm going to be honest. He had a terrible season, but the game against us, he looked really good, and it was really annoying me because he looked insane. He's so athletic.
Twisted. We might come back to Palace. I want to fly through everybody because like the video's getting really long and I don't want everyone to be bored to death. Once we've done relegation, you put in what you want us to say about Crystal Palace and I'll read it out. I promise. So, yeah. No, it's not that I think he's a bad player, but we have had... Twisted, put the Jack Daniels down and start typing. But no, I think he's talented. I think he had a really good season last season. I think we have had so many problems with mentality, with players, with younger players, with players that are still developing at Manchester United, that to me, the fact that a possible transfer got so in his head that he had such a fall off puts me off, because we are not the place to nurture that.
Yeah, the issue is if you're like, obviously you were looking at like 115 million or whatever. That is it. That is insane amount. Like I always say this: if you're buying a player that's anywhere over 100 million, he should be going straight into your team. Unbelievable, elite player. I do think Belieber is there, but I do think, like I said, he hasn't hit the heights that he was showing before this season. So yeah, like I said, for the price, you definitely, I don't see you buying him in January.
For the price, I would want more. I don't think.
No, I agree.
I think he's talented. I don't think this season is like the end of his career. I think he'll come back into it. My question mark is over his mentality. If he can be that thrown by a potential transfer, what's he going to be like if we finish 15th again? What's he going to be like if we lose a penalty shootout? What's he going to be like if he's dropped for a match? Like, how is he going to respond to that if everything gets in his head? Anthony Martial was hugely talented.
Yeah.
And I didn't have a problem with him being a bit quieter. I don't think he was like that moody. Do you know what I mean? I just don't think he interacted with the socials and that kind of thing. So that never really bothered me. But he had a bit of an attitude when there was any sort of competition for his spot. He just fell off. And I just think mentality is so important. And Belieber right now is not showing me that he has the mentality that we need. Who are you laughing at? Twisted, obviously.
No, it's someone in the chat, and I was gonna read out the name, but then their name's Huge Sharts.
Yeah, so, I read that out earlier.
Huge Sharts.
Yeah, I know what it is.
Yeah, Shart.
Yeah, but sure enough, he's just having a bit of crack with his name. Like, I mean,
no,
or her. Maybe it's a she. I'm being sexist there. But yeah.
Well, I knew because
I've definitely seen worse names.
The thing is that they were on about in the summer 65, 70 million for Belieber. That won't happen. Like,
no, if we could get him for that price, I'd still take him. But no, I don't think we get him for that price in the summer. To be honest, it would be a decent price, but I think it's hypothetical.
Yeah.
So, Brentford. When did Brentford get all the way up to 12th? Like, when did that happen?
Yeah, they've kind of just been
5. They've just
they've kind of just been
under the radar a wee bit. I think they might drop down a wee bit though.
Yeah, I will say, listen, they just slapped us up 3-1, so I wasn't really going to say much about them.
No, but that's quite good, and like they're doing all right there, aren't they? Just slowly pottering along there, and 12's good, like for a team like Brentford.
Well, so the thing is about Brentford, they keep on getting these players that are just really good. Like Igor Thiago is smashing it for them. And obviously, to be fair, I've been watching them. Jordan Henderson's looked pretty good for them as well. They've looked decent.
Yeah, that's interesting. Everton in 13th.
I don't know. This is what I'm saying. I don't know what to say about Everton because Jack Grealish was my player to watch this season. He was the person that I said was going to be the sign of the season. I still think that can happen. They have looked good.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Jack Grealish has fallen off a little bit since the start, and the whole team has. But
yeah,
I can still see them finishing around 10th.
Ash, if everybody that you say is going to finish between 8th and 10th finishes between 8th and 10th, there won't be any relegations. So some of these teams are going to have to start moving down a little bit because there's no space. You've picked about 10 teams to finish between 8th and 10th.
For me, I when I did my the list of predictions, the bottom 5 were the exact 5 teams that I thought were going to be down there.
Oh, that's quite good. So, I had West Ham to go down, I think. I can't remember.
Yeah, well, there you go. He's at the 18th right now. I think I had them 17th or 16th or something. Yeah. But the reason why I'm saying the things that I do is because the table, the bottom 5, the bottom 6, technically, 15th to 20th, is exactly the teams that I thought were going to be there. So That's
we're
why
not
I'm
skipping Newcastle. So you can say the bottom six all you want. We are going to Newcastle and we're going to talk about it because I'm sorry. Do you see when Manchester United was in 15th and 16th and 17th? It was all I bloody well heard about. So see Newcastle down there in 14th with their little red down arrow. We're going to talk about that, okay? So now that you've brought it up, what is going on with your club? What is happening? Tell me, Ash, because the last time you were on a live with me, I am sure that you told me this is the start of things for Newcastle. This is the start of our season. We're going on up.
Yeah,
that has not materialized. So you lied to me, and I thought we were friends.
The problem is right. The problem is right.
What is the problem?
So right, let's just break it down to like August. We didn't have a striker.
Okay.
We had Anthony Gordon, who was up front, who is not a striker. He ended up getting a red card, so that was great. So we ended up losing Anthony Gordon, and then obviously we bought with no ideal, and then obviously we got Wissa and Voltamada in. Voltamada was meant to be the second striker, a person that was going to be able to learn the Premier League from kind of Wissa, be the person behind Wissa. Obviously, Wissa got flipping injured with DR Congo, and Voltamada had to come in and start, which obviously from a different league, it's much more physical. Voltamada's looked unbelievable. He's probably looked our best player, if I'm being honest. He's looked insane. He still has a long way to go. Like even at the buddy, it's international flipping at the start of this summer. German papers were absolutely slating him, saying that he's terrible, saying that he's bad, but for the international team, for everything. And then now he's clearly had a point to prove that he's just smashing goals in. He scored against Germany with Germany again the other day. He's looking unbelievable. And people think he's older than what he is. I mean, he just looks older.
What age is he?
23.
Oh,
so
that's young enough. Like, if he continues where he's going, because he does seem really good, if he continues like growing and he's only 23, like you have a really good player.
Oh yeah, so this is what people this is what people haven't realized. So when he was at Stuttgart and everything, so he was kind of a bit of a late bloomer, sort of like what Semenyo is. Like there's some players that the bit older they get, the better they get at with football. Like obviously they understand things a bit better. So he was never like a starter or anything, but he started becoming a starter for Stuttgart, and he was just banging goals in constantly for them. And yeah, well, I mean, he looks he's an absolute talent. Like he's incredible on the ball. He does these like back flicks all the time. He can take on players. It's really weird when you watch him because he's this 6'6" player that takes on people. It's weird to watch. Yeah, he's like I said, he's unbelievable to be honest. But
what's going wrong? If he's so unbelievably good, what is going wrong?
So this is what's gone wrong. Is it's just
everything else.
Yeah, we just the team just isn't gelling. Like we're not kicking on.
I know I'm laughing at you, but on a serious level, I did not expect Newcastle to be 14th.
Yeah, so the reason why is obviously we spent a lot of money on Anthony Elanga. I think we got Anthony Elanga in to be with some of the likes of Wissa. I think them two would have a great partnership.
Yeah.
Elanga, he tried to give obviously he was playing right wing quite a bit when we had Gordon in the middle. That partnership did not go well. Same with the Voltamada. The Elanga Voltamada partnership didn't look good. So we brought back in Jacob Murphy, who's looked great again. I think obviously we've had defensive problems, to be honest. Like we've had quite a lot of injuries. Like we've been playing Dan Burn at left back for the past few, like I don't know how many games he's been flipping left back, but it's been quite a lot. Lewis Hall is now back, so he's going to be going left back. Tino Livramento still needs to come back in. But we've got we can't, like Mama Flossie just said, that we can't win away from home. No, we can't. It's been.
You're having a really horrific time away from home, like properly.
Yeah, look. If people have watched us play, we have performed a lot better than what our points show. Like if you actually went through a lot of the results, we probably should have won a lot more. We've had a lot of howlers and stinkers. I think that's why I said I think our league position is not where we should be. And the thing that people haven't realised, if you look back at last year, this is sort of how our season started last year as well. And
so, do you think that your season is going to improve from this point?
Yeah. For some reason,
what do you think is going to happen for it to make it click? What is going to be different?
Well, Wissa's going to come back in the team, and I think that's going to be a massive difference. I mean,
okay. And you think a lot? Who did you say he was playing in? So does Voldemort get dropped if Wissa comes back? Because that's who he was to be the understudy of. So how is that going to work?
I think we will actually have a formation where we have Gordon on the left, Elanga or Jacob Murphy on the right. And then we would either have Wissa at the front and Voldemort just behind them. Okay. So he's always kind of been that second striker. He has the ability to be a striker himself, but what we can just do, we can just have like say Gordon, Voldemort, Murphy starting, and then like 60 minutes you do a full three-way swap where you bring on Harvey Barnes, Wissa, and Elanga. Like that's so much pace and everything. So it's like you have the ability to just completely change the front three. Jacob Ramsey basically got injured when we bought him. So
that seems to happen you lot quite regularly.
We've had a lot of injuries, but it's been it's been something that's been not spoke about quite a bit. Like Spurs had a load of injuries as well, and then so it was like kind of like Spurs and then us just below them.
Yeah, and you're another sort of like I was talking about Spurs earlier. Like the majority of their fan base seem quite calm and they seem quite behind Frank, and they're patient. Rather than the likes of a United fan base where something goes wrong, we're like, get him out, make him walk the plank. We're quite volatile when something starts to go wrong. You guys seem to be more on the Spurs ilk of like, no, back Howe, we think he's the guy, let's give him some time.
Eddie Howe has just won us. Like, this is what people haven't realised. Since we've had Eddie Howe, all we have done is improve season on season. We've got Champions League again. We're currently 6th in Champions League. Like people are seem to not realizing that.
Gordon's is that because you're 14th in the Prem? Do you think maybe they're just not noticing that?
I think this is the thing that I was on about earlier. Where I'm saying is, I think what our team is currently doing, they're trying a lot harder in the Champions League and not as much in the Prem. Like the competition's better. So like Gordon was one of the top scorers in the Champions League. He's not flipping scored at all in the Prem. It's like there's polar opposites going on. I think we just need some...
We had that with Rasmus Højlund for like ages, even after we were out of it. He was one of the top scorers in Europe. And in the Prem, it just wasn't happening for him.
Well, like I said, I think towards the end of December, we're going to start seeing us pick up form and we are going to start pushing up the table. I still do see us finishing pushing between the 4th and 6th slots. If I'm being honest, I do think that's a reasonable place for us to be.
Who do you push down? Because how many teams do you think can fish up there?
Right, so how I think it's going to go.
Yeah, give me your top 6.
Man City, Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool.
Whoa! You said United there 10 minutes ago.
No, I said if you buy 2 midfielders, I said, hey,
don't. We're not doing that.
Well, yeah.
Right, go on. Right. Okay. So go on.
So what I said. So
after Chelsea.
What I actually said.
Arsenal, Chelsea.
Yeah. Okay. So then City, Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool.
Okay.
Newcastle, Man United. So that's 6.
That's 6. I think you're wrong, but that's definitely 6. We can count to 6. So that's good. Now, you see, Mama Flassie is in there. Over the years, we have had some terrible managers. Eddie has brought the success the fans were craving. And I do think we talk often about credit in the bank for managers. Well, and I do think that like, if Amram was, although, like, but that doesn't always work for us at United. They can win stuff, they can come second, and we'll still sack them. We have no loyalty whatsoever.
I think the most important thing that we've seen, a style of play has to be there. You have to want to see. You have to see a manager instill in players, like a style of football that they're all going to get behind. Like the reason why we get behind this team so much is because at home there's so much like they go in for tackles, they press high up the pitch. Like Eddie Howe is very demanding of his players, and we like seeing that. We like seeing the high press, the high tempo. That's what you want to see as a football fan. A team that can actually play with the ball, has great ability to actually like do stuff on the ball, like take on players, like get it back up off the pitch. Like the amount of times we see Bruno just take a player out and the ball go out for a throw in, like it's a clean tackle, and fans absolutely love that. And of course, like everyone loves that sort of style of football. You got to think, right? The other season we had the FA Cup final against you lot, lost that. Eddie Howe then got us into the EFL Cup, the Carabao Cup last season, which we won that. And we had an unbelievable run in to get that. Like people don't seem to talk about that enough. Like we beat the likes of like Chelsea, Arsenal twice. We beat them home and away, and then same with like Liverpool. And also at the start of the EFL Cup, we had Forest. And at the time, Forest were pushing in the top 3 slots at the start of the season, and Brentford. We had a very, very tough run in, and obviously we qualified for the Champions League. And now we're pushing on the Champions League, and we're still doing great in all the cups. So
how do you go from doing so well in a run-in like that to what's happening this season?
Well, like I said, the Isak situation made us not have a striker for the first like 4 games or whatever. So they were already kind of write-offs. We've then had issues with injuries. Like you've got to think, right? We bought Johan Wissa to be our number 9.
Yeah.
Didn't step foot on the training ground and got injured on international duty. That stuff can happen.
To be fair, Chelsea bought a striker in Liam Delap, who was also out injured for a large part of the start of the season. They're in 3rd.
Yeah, true.
So, anything else? Just wondering.
No. Like, look, I've said, I get it. You could put more pressure on the manager. But I think we're just in a position where if we were just like losing every game in like say the cups and in the Champions League, maybe they would be. But the fact is we are doing very well in those. So,
and do you think the fact that you're doing well in specifically the Champions League, because it's obviously such like a coveted high level competition, do you think that is what's given fans the patience? Or like Mama Flossie said that, you know, he brought you success that just hadn't had for a long time, that people are prepared to give him that.
100%. He's got so much money in the bank. Like I said, like in all honesty, we could finish like if we finish 14th by the end of this season, I would still not be wanting him to leave the club.
That's really interesting.
I would still be fully behind him and back him, and I think that's where it's different in certain fans of clubs because of what you demand for your club, I guess. Like Man United has a heritage of winning trophies and stuff. We to be honest don't, especially since you've got to remember, right, since 2007 we had to watch Mike Ashley in charge of our club that had a net spend, I think it was like 8.6 million a year. Like, do you know how dreadful that is? Like the training ground. So basically,
have you seen the leak in Old Trafford? I understand.
What, the waterfall?
Yes. I understand.
So the thing is, right, what you need to think about this year, what our owners have done, they've pumped £110 million into the club because we're going to be getting a new training ground and a new stadium. So how I see it, in 3 to 4 years' time, we're going to have a brand new stadium, a brand new training ground, and it's just going to bring in more players. And I would want Eddie Howe to still be around during that. I have no reason to want him gone. Like what he's done for the likes of, say, Bournemouth, how he brought them up from the 4th tier of football to where they are now, and the fact they're still challenging and doing so well is all because of him. And where he's brought us is, like, you think, right? I've always said this, since if you look at the table from January 2022, because of Eddie Howe, we would be 4th in points accumulated from that whole time, which says so much about him.
I find as well, he's a likable character. And I do think that makes a difference. See, if somebody has charisma, if somebody's just likable, you do react to them differently. Like if he was a bit abrasive, if he was a bit mouthy, if he was a bit feisty in his press conferences, if he was just had a bit of an attitude, I do think that makes a difference. If somebody's likable, you're rooting for them. Like you want them to do well.
Yeah.
I actually think he seems to be a really good fit for Newcastle. I think Eddie Howe and Newcastle, it seems to fit together, which I think you don't always get that. Like a manager can be a really good manager, top-notch manager, but if they don't fit the club, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
And I do feel like he's a really good fit. Now, I did see Twisted putting some comments in, but Flossie is answering him. So I'm going to just shout them out because, bless him, we did skip past Crystal Palace very fast. And then we're going to get into the bottom end of the table there because I don't want to go over 2 hours. I don't want to keep anybody longer than that because they've been very patient with us. So Twisted had asked originally if you feel that Newcastle needs a new voice. I think you've answered no to that question. And he also said, I've lost him. Where did he go? Does Newcastle need a new voice? He's afraid sentiment might hold yous back.
I mean, possibly, but like, what else would we want? Would we want the likes of a Chelsea-style management where they sack a manager every year or two if they don't do well? Like,
well,
I don't want that.
Forest, you can sack 3 in a season.
I know, literally, they're sacking more managers than there are months. Like, it's crazy. Like,
it's mental.
Yeah,
mental.
I mean, I can understand what you're saying, but for me, if Eddie Howe's delivering at a decent level, no one's expecting us to be challenging. So the fact there's no expectation of that, I don't think there's a reason why any of us should think he should be sacked. If we were suddenly being like, we spent over $1 billion or something and was like, you should be challenging and we're 14th or whatever, then yeah, sure. But personally, like I said, I think Champions League slots at the moment, work on stadium, work on training ground. You've got, like I said, people need to realize, right? We didn't have a sporting director for like 2 years. Like we had the whole issue with like the likes of Dan Ashworth and everything. Paul Mitchell's a flipping donut. He's been kicked out. It's like we've just had Ross Wilson, who's just came in as our CEO, who's sporting director, who's working on all contracts and everything. And look, there's only up that it's going to be going from here. Obviously, we lost the likes of Bizak, which I think caught a lot of us by surprise, to be honest.
The way it went down was surprising. I think even as an outsider looking in, the way it went down was very surprising. I didn't expect it to get that toxic. But obviously, there's loads of stuff that we don't know about from both sides behind the scenes. And Liverpool and their turmoil just affected everybody. But last word on Newcastle, you believe Newcastle are going to finish 5th from here? In your list, that's what you told me.
Yeah. Okay.
Are you confident?
Sure.
Right. Last question. Last question. Do you think, because you're saying that you're doing well in the Champions League, for you to get up into 5th in the Prem, do you think that's going to cost you some of the progress and sort of how well you're doing in the Champions League? Do you think you're going to be able to continue what you're doing in the Champions League and get to 5th?
Yeah.
Or do you think one is going to have to give?
No, I don't think either. I think we're going to be fine because we've got to where we are in the Champions League with all these injuries we've had. So now players are starting to come back. Like we're going to be able to rotate and we're actually going to be able to have some of these players actually play. Like say if you get the likes of Johan Wissa, even say imagine Johan Wissa playing the Prem, then Voltamada or something like, and those like play in more Champions League, you can do that. And even the likes of Willa Sula, he's our 3rd striker, who we basically Frankfurt. I can never say that bloody word. Frankfurt was going to buy him on deadline day for 30 million. We got very lucky actually that he ended up staying because of the Wissa situation.
On transfers, Huge Sharts, your favourite, has asked you a question. Do you think you'll sign anyone in January? Because if you think part of what has held you back is the numerous injuries you've had in defence and going forward, do you think that you buy someone in January to prevent that affecting you in the second half of the season?
I honestly don't think we'll buy anyone in January. I think when it comes down to summer, we will, because we've got quite so you'll see with our defense, we have we have a sort of changing of the guard kind of thing, if you would say, because we have a very old defense with the likes of, say, Fabian Schär, Dan Burn, and Kieran Trippier. Those three are very old, getting on 30 plus, like 33 odd.
They've been around forever, so they have. The feelings I get, you know.
So whereas we've got our new four, I guess we'll go from Lewis Hall, Malik Chow, Sven Botman, and Tino Livramento. Those are going to be like our main staple four at the back. Unbelievable partnership and defense that we've got there. They're just a bit injury prone. So we'll see how it goes up till summer. But I don't think to be honest, I don't think we're going to do any transfers over the summer, over the January window.
Fair enough. So to do what you want to do, you're hoping everybody stays fit.
No, because like I said, even we've had injuries.
And it's got you to 14. So if you want to get up to 6, you need some of them to stop, no? That seems like a...
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I've tortured you enough for Newcastle. We did spend quite a bit of time on them. And I think you've answered all of our questions. So if we just take the bottom sort of 6 as a whole, do you feel just out of those bottom 6, there's anybody in the bottom 6 that will come out of it by the end of the season? Because you said this was the bottom 6 you predicted before the season started. So are you sticking with that, or do you see any of them coming out?
I could see West Ham coming out.
Coming out of the bottom 6?
Yeah, to be honest. So I think they had a bit of a stinker. But I could see them turning it around, to be honest.
Okay.
But to go in instead of West Ham,
they got Nuno, didn't they? Was it
Nuno?
Yeah,
they got Nuno.
Interesting, yeah.
I can see them, like, they've won the last 2 games, which I would know because they've flipping slapped us up. I could see them coming out and, oh God, I don't even know who would go into it. I honest to God, I have no idea who would go into it. Maybe Brentford. No, well, I don't. Yeah,
Brentford was the first one I looked at as well. Isn't that terrible?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, Thiago's is the main part of Brentford, and I think he will fall off a bit. So I think potentially Brentford could go to like 15th, and I think West Ham will go like 14th or something.
Okay.
But yeah.
What about Fulham, Leeds?
Nah, they're stinky. No? Stinky teams.
Fair enough. And part of the reason I ask you that, so Steve has said Leeds could and should be doing so much better. Farke is holding them back, in my opinion. They should get rid of him ASAP. That, I don't know enough about him to be able to say, but I
looked okay. The Leeds have looked okay, to be fair, out of the teams. Like the 16th, like I've said, people need to realise, right? To come up from the Championship, the main goal that you should have is to just not be relegated. So if Farke gets them to 16th or whatever, 17th, 15th, 16th, that's great. And I think that's sort of where they should be aiming for.
Oh. Twisted has a friend in the chat. Somebody has decided to steal his name. Who do we know that does that? Now, I think Leeds, obviously, as a United fan, I'd be quite happy for them to go back down. But I do think they're doing surprisingly well, actually. And I think because we had like 3 seasons where it was 3 up, 3 down, it happened like one after the other. And so I think people, like, as fans, are delighted when it's not, because it's so boring. You don't want 3 up, 3 down. You want to have a bit of competition. You want it to go a bit mad.
Yeah.
So I'm actually finding it quite good that, like, that's why I'm loving what Sunderland are doing. And as much as I dislike Leeds, as you say, when you come up, your number one aim is don't go back down. And at the minute, they're doing all right compared to some of the other teams around them.
Yeah.
Do you reckon?
So who do you think's going down? Who do you think's going down?
I think West Ham go down because I predicted them anyway. I actually can't remember who my bottom 3 was. I know West Ham was in it. Wolves.
Yeah, I think Wolves are gone.
Honest to God, like 2 points. They have 2 points. Like
they've scored 7 goals and conceded 25.
25 is a lot.
That is terrible.
And you know what it is? Like Rob Edwards that's coming in, obviously, like, as you know, I did a video on this, so I looked into him a little bit, but like he played for them. He coached for them at under 18s. He coached for them at under 23s. Like, has a touch of the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's about it. Like, you know, someone who means something to the club, something that the club means something to him going back. And I think that does something to the mentality of the dressing room, of the players, of, you know, I think it does something. But I think for him to get them out when they've got 2 points right now, you're not just relying on him, you're relying on the teams above you to absolutely capitulate. I
think they know they're going down because the second Rob Edwards came in, what was all the biggest rumours that went around? Joe Gomez to Man United. That was everything that went around. And I think they're looking at potentially in January trying to get rid of some of their top talent.
Get the money in while they can.
Yeah, I think they're aware they're more than likely going down. So
if they don't go down, I don't care who wins the league. That is the story of the season. If he manages to get them out of relegation, it would be a miracle. So I don't think they will. I think they will start to do better. I think they're definitely going to get a bounce. They're going to start picking up points. And I think like that, there's some things that are intangible that you can't look at a stat for it. You can just see it. It's a thing you feel. So I think they'll start to do better, but I think they're getting relegated. I don't know what is going to happen with Forest because I don't think Forest know what's going to happen with Forest. It's like watching like a soap or something. You don't know what's going to happen next.
You know what? I hope they get relegated just because it means they'll have to sell the likes of Elliot Anderson and stuff like that and Morgan Gibbs-White. Like, I want Elliot Anderson to come back to Newcastle. Like, I want that so bad. Like, I was so upset. Hey, listen, no, absolutely flipping ex. We didn't want him to go.
Yeah, but you're his ex. Maybe he feels that way.
Yeah, nah, PSR flipping damn Premier League robbed us. Like
that happened. Oh, that's quite sad, isn't it? When it happens like that.
Basically, we were heading towards PSR issues, so we had to sell Minter to Brighton for 40 million, and then obviously Elliot Anderson to Forest for 35 million. So it was a sad time, but obviously we saw Elliot Anderson's talent.
Yes,
but the thing is, right, we in that position we have the likes of Tonali and obviously Bruno that can also play that. So it's like we weren't exactly like.
Sometimes decisions have to be made.
Yeah, so I understand it. Look, he's kicked on to be potentially the best CDM that I've seen in God knows how long, or even a CM. Like, he can play everything. Like, he's just an unbelievable talent, and I would love nothing more than to get him back, especially because I have a feeling Sandro Tonali is probably going to go to a very, very big club at some point.
Which one?
I don't know. That's a problem. I think
Ash, the channel is called Spill the Tea, and you're holding out on me. Where do you think he's going?
I just the problem is, right, he's gonna be over 100 million, and I don't know who's gonna. I don't see a Premier League team doing it. I think it would be an international one. Real Madrid. I could honestly, I could potentially see him going back to Italy, but the thing is, he's going to be a lot of money, so I don't really know who's going to be able to do it. He's in contract for years still, so.
The only team we haven't really spoken about at all, Burnley.
Oh God, what a shit team that is.
But do you think Forest, because I think West Ham goes down and I think Wolves goes down, Nottingham Forest are so unpredictable, maybe they get out of it. Do you think if Nottingham Forest could claw their way out, Burnley might go down?
I hope Burnley goes down because holy shit, Turf Moor is such a terrible ground. And it's so far down south, man. Like, Like, please, like, let them go and West Ham stays up. Forest can go down. And Wolves. We can get Strand Larson from Wolves, and then Elliot Anderson can come back from Forest. I am more
all
than
your transfer windows.
Exactly. I'm thinking about the positives for us.
Well, if you forget about which players you would like to buy from them, do you feel it is likely that Burnley will drop into the relegation zone, or do you think the three that are in there are going to stay there?
No, I think they will. Like I said, I think there's more of a chance Forest and West Ham don't get relegated, and I think there's a chance of I think there's more of a risk of Burnley, Leeds, and Fulham going down into those slots.
Fulham are sliding down there, aren't they? They're just quietly sort of. And do you think, see the way we talked a wee bit about Brentford and Everton, you know, in 12th and 13th, do you think there's a chance they slide down? Because as I said, Leeds are doing all right. Do you think Leeds maybe climbs a wee bit, say Hughes climb a wee bit, Brentford and Everton maybe drop a bit? Because I think really they're like waiting on whatchamacallum, Grealish to sort of kick on, and if he doesn't, do they have a backup plan? So I just wonder, could there be a bit of a change there? But so really the only one we think definitely is Wolves. I think West Ham. We probably think maybe Burnley. Nottingham Forest, who knows, they might moonwalk out of it. Leeds might go up a wee bit, Hughes might go up a wee bit, Fulham could probably go down a bit. But I think overall, for the most part, the teams that are in the bottom there are going to stay in the bottom.
Yeah, I think it's. I don't think it's going to be like other seasons where the bottom three are like consolidated from quite soon. I think maybe Wolves might be, but I think the other two slots, I think there's going to be a fight between Fulham, Leeds, Burnley, West Ham, and Forest. I think I think it's going to be
interesting.
Do you know what? I would love this for it to be like last day of the Premier League. Top three teams are all one point off each other, and then like the bottom six is all
just chaos.
Yeah,
come to the dark side. Just chaos. That's what we want.
And then
not for our own teams, but for everybody else.
Exactly. Newcastle are just sitting fourth. If we lose or win that game, it doesn't matter. We're just guaranteed that spot, and then everything else is just full on.
I do. I reckon United finish above Newcastle. I really do. And I'm not even being like, I genuinely believe that.
I honestly, I don't think it's a bad shout for how you guys have been. I mean, you guys have performed a lot better than what I thought you were going to be honest.
We'll have to go back to Crystal Palace. Our Twisted's going to fall out with us. And we really did skim over Crystal Palace.
Right. Twisted.
After me saying we were going to talk about them. So Twisted, this is your moment. What would you like to say about your team?
I know what you're going to say. Ismail Sarr looked absolutely amazing. I will say João-Philippe Mateta. When we were looking at a centre forward, I was stuck between two, Isak and Mateta. And I really wanted Mateta. Obviously, I wanted Isak over Mateta actually at the time. But bear in mind, these were like, they weren't kicking on. They were just like decent centre forwards. Mateta looks absolutely amazing, I think. Talk on underrated Glasner.
I will actually talk about that because you remember I did the video I did on Bournemouth and Crystal Palace, and so I was looking in. Glasner was one of the things I was looking into, and at the time we were going into the second, not this international break. I think it might have been the first international break. And there was all the talk of, was Ruben Amorim going to be sacked? Was he going to turn it around? Blah, blah, blah. Who would we get to replace Ruben Amorim and the whole shebang? And so some of the names that were being talked about was Areola and Glasner. And so I looked into him a little bit and he's really impressive. Like his CV is really impressive. What he's doing at Crystal Palace is really, really impressive. I don't know if he's underrated though, because when there's talk of a manager being sacked, kind of the higher end managers being sacked. So for example, Amorim, Glasner was one of the main names that's being talked about. I don't think he's talked about all the time in the way like, say, Eddie Howe is, because he's such a well-known figure and name. He's not talked about the way Pep obviously is, or, you know, that sort of a way. But I think for a Crystal Palace manager, I do feel that he is getting recognition maybe not as much as Palace fans would like, but I don't think he's as under the radar as they think he is. And I think sometimes, like, it's not a bad thing if your manager's flying under the radar a wee bit, because if he's really good, you don't want him to be poached by a bigger team. Like, Twisted there is saying Glasner deserves a huge club next season. You see, but you don't want him to get a big club, because then he's leaving you.
Yeah, I think so. So where I think Glasner is at, he is just under the big club level. Where the big club level, I would say, like, going for Champions League spots. I think potentially a German or Italian club that's at a high level. I think maybe goes to one of those, potentially gets some more experience, and then look at maybe the Premier League, like top. I don't think he's someone that, say, if I was a Man United fan, I'll be like looking to think, oh, if I get Glasner in, he's going to be pushing me to be challenging. I don't think he's that sort of level. But he looks good, but I just don't think he's not the top of the top. I think he still has some learning to go still, but he's not bad.
I think for me, I'm not that I'm not impressed, but what I'm impressed by isn't really what he's done as much in the Prem. While it is impressive what he's doing with Crystal Palace, I was more impressed with what I read about what he did before he came to the Prem. Like, he's been consistently doing this, like building teams, and
he looked good at Frankfurt.
So, yeah, I don't know if he leaves the Prem to come back to the Prem. I think it's an unusual step. I understand the logic in what you're saying, but I don't know if you get your foot in the door, do you leave and go back? And I mean, Crystal Palace are doing well. I think he stays with them for another season.
Because how I'm thinking it is, right, above Crystal Palace, I don't think he joins any of the teams above Crystal Palace and makes them better.
Oh, that's a hot take. That's a hot take. I like it.
I don't think it's a mad thing to say, though, because I think, like, a lot of managers.
It's wild, but I've not heard anyone else say it. Because as I said, for me, when we talk about managers getting sacked, Glasner's name, Glasner, Areola, the usual suspect, are always the hats in the ring.
But this is the problem.
So that is an interesting take, because it's different.
That's the issue, is, though, you think about it, those manager names are getting thrown around, like Areola and Glasner and stuff, because there's not this unbelievable manager that's out there at the moment. Like, before, you get the likes of, say, Jose Mourinho, you'll go in, and he is like pinnacle of power and stuff. You're talking about people like a manager that's winning Champions Leagues and stuff. So it's, I think, there's the level, a lot of
star power.
No, there's the managerial resumes that are out there at the moment are just not as what they used to be. So, yeah, for me personally, Glasner's a good manager, but I like it, say, as a Newcastle fan, I wouldn't want him over Eddie Howe. So
I don't know if I would want him over Amram, but if Amram gets sacked, and let's face it, United have a habit of sacking managers, he would be right up there with who I would want in. 100%.
You see, but that's my problem, is because, so as a Newcastle fan, if I was told, right, Eddie Howe's going, I would not want him gone unless, if, say, someone like a Diego Simeone was going to be able to come in instead.
Yeah.
Because if I was said Eddie Howe's going and Glasner's coming in, I'm like, well, we're not upgrading at all. So what's the point?
Yeah. No, well, look, we're going to finish on this. I'm just going to read out one or two last week comments, but we've hit like 2 hours. Ash is doing me a favor by being on, and I've taken his entire evening. Yous have been fantastic. Yous have been so consistent, sticking with us for this long. So thank you so much. If you haven't smashed a like, please do smash a like. If you're new, please hit subscribe. If you've managed to take this long with us, yous are absolutely wonderful. But I did see Twisted saying, I want him to stay, but unfortunately our owners are not as ambitious as him. So that can be rough. If your ownership and your manager aren't aligned, that if he feels he has reached the ceiling that he can reach at Palace, that for him personally might be a reason to leave. So maybe the transfer window and how much they're prepared to back him might be actually the difference in whether he stays or goes. And I did see one other one. Huge sharts. Glasner struggled at first. He needed to adapt to Palace. He might not start well at a big team. I suppose it's when you talk about players having an adjustment period, managers do too. And I think at the minute we're actually seeing Slot's adjustment period. So it's going to happen. So I think that's a fair comment as well. But listen, thank you so much, everybody. You are all absolutely fantastic. This was a really, really long stream. We talked about everybody. Crystal Palace got their moment. Sunderland are winning the league. United are finishing above Newcastle. Everybody is going to finish between 8th and 10th, except for West Ham and Wolves, because they're going down. And I think that's about covered everything, Ash. That's pretty accurate to what we said. But thank you, thank you, thank you. Please smash a like. And we'll see you all soon. I'll see you all soon. Ash might never come back ever again because I've traumatized him. Yous are all unbelievable.